Should I
Good af-
start?
Yeah,
Professor?
good afternoon, everybody. Today is the third day of BES-163. There is one more class left. That will be on Monday. So since very little number of students have joined, we were interested to wait for a few more times, but I think uh, students are not that much interested today. I don't know what is their engagement. But anyway, we will send the recordings to everyone, all the enrolled learners. So there is no issue on that. Dr. Sadangi is very much present, our resource person, and he will be speaking to you about many more new things which are available in your block 3 of BS 163. So Dr. Sadangi, you can take over now.
Okay, thank you, Professor Tripathi. Good afternoon to all participants. I welcome you to this session of orientation program. Today, I will discuss on multicultural classroom, diverse as a resource. Or in other words, how we must prepare ourselves to face the students in a diverse classroom. The term diversity is based upon the Latin root that is diverse, that means difference. Diversity means difference. In other words, as we all are working in Navodaya Vidyalaya, we come across students from different cultural background. And it has been both a challenge on our part to deal with those students, as well as it is also a boon for all. Diversity in the classroom, though it is a challenge, also it is a boon for all. I will discuss in detail about that diversity and its importance, different issues, and how to respond to those issues. In detail, I will discuss the concept, multicultural classroom concept is coined by Bank in 1980. Though historically, multicultural education was can be traced back to 1960, but that particular word, phrase, multicultural education was coined by Bank in 1980. And sometimes it is related to the concept of inclusive classroom, which includes variety of educational practices, varieties of educational programs, and varieties of educational materials for dealing with students coming from different cultural groups to experience educational equality. Our motto is equal education. Equal education means we must provide universal education, irrespective of caste, creed, culture, and different diverse cultures, different diverse backgrounds, whatever it may be. But they must experience uh, equality in education. All should get that opportunity in our classroom. That's why it is very challenging. So far as classroom, our classroom in our school, we find students from different locations, from different cultural backgrounds. You are very much aware of that. And it, it is necessary to increase knowledge, skill, and attitude of the students. It need to develop or it aims at cultural, multicultural education provided in the multicultural classroom aims at to provide knowledge, skills, and attitudes required for living in a diverse culture in future. That is what the importance of multicultural education in multicultural classroom. So far as diversity in classroom is concerned, we find, as you know, India is known for its diversity. India is best known for its diversity. So far as caste is concerned, language is concerned, religion is concerned, we find diversity in India. Different groups of persons we find living in India. And our motto is unity in diversity. The motto of India is unity in diversity. That's why uh, the motto of universal or equal education to diverse groups. They should be benefited out of the education. All should be benefited out of the education provided in our school. All groups of students should be equally benefited, equal education, equally benefited out of education in the classroom. That is also the motto of the multicultural education in the multicultural classroom. So far as diversity is concerned, let us discuss different types of among students we find in our classroom. Different, different types of students that we come across in our classroom. First one is individual diversity. So far as sex is concerned, boys are studying, girls are studying. Ability, slow learners are studying, brilliant students are studying. So far as hobbies are concerned, interests are concerned, different types of students are studying in the class. That's why we find individual diversity or individual difference in the classroom. Intelligence is concerned, creativity is concerned, interest is concerned. We find different types of students in our class. So far as disability is concerned, we also find different types of disabled students in the classroom. Hearing impaired students, deaf and dumb students, your blind students or visually impaired students, physically handicapped students. We find different types of students so far as disability is concerned. We may say that classroom. Students are different from one another, from each other, individual difference we find. And their needs are different. Their interests are also different. Their expectations are also different. So it is a challenge on the part of a teacher to deal with all students while providing equal education. Then regional diversity is there in five. Eastern region, Western region, Central region, Northern region, some from different regions are also we find in our classroom. So that regional diversity, students from different regions, they also take admission, and also we find those students in our classroom. So far as geographical location is concerned, is from forest areas, coastal areas, students from hilly areas, plain areas, mountain areas, you see, they also come to get education, and also we find these type of students, groups of students belonging to different geographical regions or geographical areas in our classroom. Also, historically, from historical point of view, we also find Aryan students, Dravidian students in the classroom from historical point of view. Different groups of students, different students from different historical background we find in our classroom. Then from political point of view, students belong to different states, West Bengal, Bihar, Odisha, Andhra, Tamil Nadu, we find students in our classroom. Then from economic point of view, we find students coming from a rich family, from a poor family, or average income family. See, it is a challenge on the part of a teacher to deal with those students in the classroom. Socioeconomic status, they are from different, their family background, socioeconomic status of their family is something different. High socioeconomic status, low socioeconomic status, we find those type of students. Then from cultural background, different cultural backgrounds. Culture, whenever we talk on culture, it consists of knowledge, beliefs, language, then traditions, customs, then it also includes, you see, habits, way of life, different way of life, different practices, which are transformed from generation to generation. They are habituated with this type of practices. Take education, value systems, beliefs, attitude, practices, language, then tools they use in their day-to-day life, cultural habits, something different. So students from a different cultural background also study are found in a particular classroom. That's why That's why it has been a challenge on the part of the teacher. Then religious diversity, we find students from Hinduism, from Christianity, from Islamic tradition, Sikh students, Jainism, Zoroastrian students belong to different religions also found in a classroom with different religious practices, with different religious beliefs, with different religious values and morality. We find uh, those type of students in our classroom. Then another is the language. Students, language of the students we find in multicultural classroom is something different. Odia, Bengali, Hindi, then uh, different Gujarati, Marathi, different language. Punjabi students uh, with different language backgrounds also study in multicultural classroom. That's why there are also some students, for example, blind students. Their 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 communication skill is something different from deaf and dumb students. Deaf and dumb students cannot communicate. They lost both their hearing and speaking ability. Those who are born deaf, they lost speech also. They take the help of different modes for communication, lip reading, or you may say sign language, gesture, posture they use for communication purpose. Sign language. That is why communication, language, so far as communication mode is concerned, we find students using different mode for communication. And we will also find students having or using different languages, not a common language. Students' mother tongue is something different. Students from different language or linguistic background also found in multicultural classroom. So far as intelligence is concerned, we find students with different possessing different levels of IQ. So for interest, hobbies are different also. We find students with different hobbies, interest. Then so far as social skill is concerned, so far as social aspect is concerned, we find students who are sociable, who are introvert. There are students who are introvert. They are reluctant to mix with others. Then extrovert students are there. Different types of students, so far as your social skill is concerned, we find in the classroom. Then family support. So far as family support is for education is concerned, some family yesterday I was discussing about the parental style. Some parents are there who are not more conscious about the education of their children, who are highly conscious about the education of their children, who are reluctant for the education of their children. That's why, so far as family support is concerned, we find difference with regard to family support. Students belonging to this type of family, we also find in our classroom. That's why we find students of different groups, so far as culture is concerned, region is concerned, language is concerned, religion is concerned, sex is concerned, age is concerned, maturity level is concerned, values is concerned, practices are concerned. We find different types of students in the classroom. And that is why challenges takes place on the part of the teacher. But one thing is made clear that multicultural classroom is a boon for the student. It is not a vice, it is a virtue for the students, both for academic as well as non-academic progress of the students, or in other words, for all-round development of the students. It is a boon. It act as a virtue, a boon for the students. Why? Why? So far as pillars of education are concerned, there are four pillars of education. First pillar of education, as you know, is learning to know. Learning to know. You have to acquire knowledge, information. We study to know. That is the first pillar of education. Second pillar of education is learning to do. What you know is not more important. What you can do with what you know is more important. That is why second pillar of learning is learning to do. What you know is important, but it is not so important because what you do with what you know is very important. Then third pillar of learning is, or education is, learning to be a good human being, to be a good citizen, positive qualities, positive behavior is required from education. That is why perfection in all respect must be ensured by education. That is learning to do. Third pillar of education. The fourth pillar of education is the fourth pillar is important. That is learning to live together. How to live together. That is very important. Multicultural classroom helps to learn skills to live together. The skills in different places of culture or society, that skill is very important. Learn to live together, learning to live together. And it is multicultural classroom which helps children to learn how to live in a diverse culture, how to live together. It is develops, remember, multicultural classroom helps students to develop grounds that helps them to develop skill of relationship, how to live harmoniously in the society with a different society, which where we find different groups of people how to live together harmoniously. That is very important. Out of those four pillars, as I have discussed, do, learning to be, and learning to live together. Out of those four skills, last pillar, that is learning to live together, is very important nowadays. That's why it is multicultural classroom which helps students to acquire skills to live together harmoniously in every places of the society. May it be a workplace in future, may it be in home, may it be in uh, different social settings, or in general society. How to live together, we must know. And multicultural classroom helps for developing together. And multicultural classroom helps for cultural diffusion. When two cultures interact with each other, that takes place cultural diffusion. And another term we use, that is amalgamation of culture, cultural amalgamation. Culture is changing, values are changing, beliefs are changing, customs are changing. Culture, as you know, there are two aspects of culture. One is material aspect and another is non-material aspect. Non-material aspect, values, beliefs, knowledge changes, but slowly it changes, though slowly, but it changes. Practices, beliefs are changing also. And when two cultures, students belong to two cultures, interact with each other, they could know about each other, and they could get opportunity to know uh, the culture of one another, culture of others in their interaction process. And accordingly, they may refine, they both try to learn cultural practices and try to develop accordingly, modify, refine their own culture or cultural practices, beliefs, attitudes. That's why it is very important so far as cultural diffusion or cultural amalgamation is concerned. Cultural diffusion takes place. Some good habits or good habits, style of life, one learns from others and share their beliefs, share their habits. It gives an opportunity to share each other, share about their culture, each other, and learn some good practices out of that interaction. That's why it is very important. Then another very important multicultural classroom is very important so far as development of critical thinking is concerned. When they join together, they can interpret a particular uh, idea in different ways. based upon their cultural background. In brainstorming session, as you know, new ideas based upon when students belonging to different cultures interact with each other, then takes place novel ideas, new ideas. So far as critical thinking is concerned, when students belong to different culture, discuss on a particular topic, they reach at they develop their decision-making capacity and reach at taking decision on a particular issue jointly and fruitfully. Fruitful decision they can take. That's why multicultural classroom helps to take decision, to interpret some idea in a multiple way. Nowadays, we are living in an age called postmodern era, not modern era. We live in a postmodern era. Postmodern era does not believe on objectivity, or does not believe on one answer to a particular question. It was the philosophy of modern era. In modernism, we are talking about the objective type of test. Objective test. We ask objective test questions in modern era, but postmodern era believes on subjective questions, not objective questions. The questions which can generate multiple answers. We have to put this type of question. Multiple answers is demanded from the students. And multiple answers can only be generated beautifully and significantly in a multicultural classroom. Remember. Give me a definition of a particular concept. There is no definite, there is no one definition to a particular concept. There are multiple definitions. How to give multiple answers? Multiple answers can emerge out of the discussion of students belong to different cultures in a multicultural classroom. That's why multiple answers, it helps to develop, or it helps multicultural classroom, helps students to generate multiple ideas, multiple concepts, multiple definitions to a particular concept, multiple interpretation to a particular issue or concept. That's why multicultural classroom is a boon, very important. And scholastic and non-scholastic achievement, or scholastic and non-scholastic progress or achievement or performance of the students depend on competition as well as motivation. And it is multicultural classroom where students work jointly with others belong to different cultural background. They develop competitive spirit, which helps them for their academic progress, enhances their academic progress. Also non-academic progress. Non-academic progress, we say non-scholastic achievements. Scholastic area as well as in non-scholastic area, competitive spirit is necessary. And that competitive spirit emerges in multicultural classroom. And again, motivation. Students get motivation from others to progress in a particular area according to their interest. That's why multicultural classroom is very important so far as cognitive and personal growth is concerned. A very important thing is it reduces prejudice. Multicultural classroom reduces prejudice. Another concept, acculturation, enculturation, that new concept we find in sociology, acculturation, enculturation takes place in multicultural classroom. Some good habits of one culture is learned by students of different culture. Good habits, good practices, good ideas, good practices, good traditions, good customs, value systems, morality of other culture. That's why it, it accelerates, multicultural classroom accelerates enculturation and acculturation. Also cultural diffusion. When cultural diffusion takes place, enculturation takes place, acculturation takes place. That's why multicultural classroom is very important. But there are some issues that we face as a teacher in multicultural classroom. First issue is communication, relating to communication. Students coming from different linguistic background face problems with regard to interact their idea, to communicate their ideas, communication problems. Mother tongue is Odia. Students come into contact of Bengali. Students are belong to West Bengal, face problem to interact, to communicate with Bengali students. Telangana students, mother tongue is different. Students belong to Hindi area, Hindi speaking area, face problem in South to interact with South Indian students, you see, because of language. That's why communication is a very important issue. Then second one is adjustment. There takes place an adjustment problem because poor students find difficult to adjust with the rich students. Students belong to scheduled tribe face problems to adjust with normal students, or students belong to higher caste. Deaf and dumb students or hearing impaired students find adjustment problem with normal students in the classroom. Adjustment problem. Multicultural classroom poses issues regarding adjustment problem. blind students find difficulties to adjust with a normal students in the classroom. Though it is a boon, it poses challenges. As a teacher, we must know about all those things. Communication issues, adjustment issues, then grouping as per diversity. Blind students, 5 to 6 blind students are studying in a class, or 4 to 5 students are studying. They make a group, blind groups, hearing impaired groups. Rich students form groups, highly students belong to high socioeconomic status, they form groups. Hindi speaking students, they form group. Oriya speaking students, they form group. Likewise, it is a challenge. It is a challenge before the student and before the school. That is very important issue. There is every possibility of forming group on the basis of diversity, which creates problem. Then acceptance. Normal students sometimes fail to accept disabled students, impaired students, handicapped students. Difficult issues that poses uh, an issue uh, before the teachers in the classroom. Acceptance issue. Then use of teacher face problems relating use of suitable pedagogy. Suitable teaching learning aids, suitable pedagogy, because in a multicultural classroom, different types of students are studying with different cultural backgrounds, with different abilities, differential abilities. What type of teaching method or techniques that you have to use? It poses a challenge before you. You know, hearing impaired students cannot listen to your speech. If you focus on verbal speech or verbal language, if you use verbal language in the classroom, deaf and dumb students or hearing impaired students may not understand you. They require posture, gesture. Learning disabled students are there who needs concrete materials, not abstract concept. They require something concrete materials. General map that you are using to teach geography in the classroom, which is used for common students, may not be used to teach geography to the blind students. That's why techniques, methods, and pedagogy, teaching learning aids, pedagogical inputs that you use needs to be seriously considered, because use of pedagogy in the classroom poses a challenge before a teacher to deal with students coming from different cultural background with diversity, individual differences, with individual differences. That is why these are some issues for the teacher to deal with students in multicultural classroom. However, there must be some common instructional practices, techniques you can adopt for the benefit of students in multicultural setting. First one, that is special attention to the students during entry year. At the beginning, the students coming from different cultural background should be given special attention. And you must know individually every child, every student. Individually means not only their names, you should know, but you must know about the cultural background, from which culture, what is their cultural background. In detail, you must know. That's why you must know your learner individually, their cultural background, their socioeconomic status, parental position, everything in detail. Geographical location, their language, their culture, their cultural practice, you must know, so that it will be easy on your part to deal with those type of students. Respect. As a teacher, you must ensure everybody should respect each other's culture. Acceptance, not only accept, but also respect each other's culture is very important. That is very important in the multicultural classroom or dealing with students in a multicultural classroom. Foster cultural awareness. As a teacher, you have to foster cultural awareness to the students. Each and every student know about different types of cultures and its strength. Strength of each and every culture should be made known to each and every student in the classroom. Every culture. Rural area culture, you see, rural area culture has its strength. Urban area culture has its strength. Why I am speaking that thing, you see, when I was studying in a college at my graduation stage, when I was studying in a college situated in an urban area, I come across a urban area uh, classmate. While interacting with him, he asked one uh, question to me. The question was, uh, how is the flattened rice tree? He has no idea that flattened rice is made out of paddy, and he has no idea. He asked me, how is, I know, he said that I know how is paddy tree, but I have not seen flattened rice tree. You see, he has no idea because he belongs to urban area. I got astonished. Then I tried to clarify his doubt that it is produced out of paddy. Cornflakes. You see, tree is something, cornflakes is a product. Similarly, there are different types of products sold in market in urban areas. They think that it must have some tree, it must be produced out of some tree. That is the idea. That's why when experience of urban area student, rural area student will be joined, will be mixed, then something new idea will take place. That's why every culture has its strength, and as a teacher, you make awareness program to make students aware of the strength of different cultures. Then be sensitive towards different cultures, sensitive towards different cultures, and you have to organize different programs based upon different cultures, having different cultural background. Then collaborative and cooperative learning. Nowadays, that is given more importance. Collaborative and cooperative learning constitute not homogeneous groups. You have to, for collaborative and cooperative learning, different groups. You have to form different groups in the classroom, and that group must be a heterogeneous type of group. Heterogeneous students belong to different culture should be formed group for cooperative and collaborative learning. And it helps that cooperative and collaborative learning process helps students for multiple interpretation, for invention of a new idea, construction of knowledge, for construction of new knowledge, new ideas, new concept, new principles, new interpretations, multiple interpretations. It helps to develop. And it helps the student to understand an idea in detail, helps to understand. That's why multicultural classroom is very important so far as a teacher uses or utilize multicultural background of students in forming groups for cooperative and collaborative learning. Then use experiential method of learning, experiential method of learning. Socio-cultural experiences needs to be exploited while teaching in a new concept, new topic. Socio-cultural experience of the students belong to different culture can be used while discussing a new idea, discussing a new concept, new theory. That is called experiential and multi-level learning. Experience of the students belong to different cultures can be exploited while discussing a new topic or new idea. That's why as a teacher, we should take care of it. Then informal interaction in multicultural classroom, teacher initiate informal interaction, not formal interaction, informal, like friend. Then only student develop confidence, trust They will trust you. They can trust you. Informal, friendly interaction. So that they think that my teacher accept me, my teacher accept my habits, accept my beliefs, accept my culture. It develops confidence on the part of the students, helps to build trust on the part of the students. Students should build trust on their teachers. This is all about the discussion or idea that I discussed on multicultural classroom. Now, the topic is open for discussion. You can ask questions. Any doubt or clarification, you can ask questions. Let us make our discussion vibrant and lively. Any doubt, you can ask. No doubt. Any doubt? Anything? Or you can, whatever the problems that you are facing in your classroom, you can ask relating to that topic, problems or challenges you are facing, so that we can discuss how to overcome that challenges, overcome those challenges or overcome those problems, your classroom problems. Student problems. Any idea? Or any idea you can give with regard to this topic, multicultural classroom? Any new idea which you have so that you can share with others? No, no question, no doubt, no idea from your side to share, nothing. Should I start with another topic that I have already prepared for discussion? Okay. The next topic is understanding learning challenges of students with disabilities. Students with special needs. Sometimes the term used were handicapped students. Sometimes disabled students, the term used, disabled students. Sometimes the term like students with special needs were used. Sometimes the term like differently abled children. Now we are using differently abled children for those who deviate from normal children physically, mentally, emotionally, and socially. They are called exceptional children. Sometimes exceptional children are children with special needs. They are hearing impaired children. We are using blind children, hard of hearing children, Then we are using blind children, partially sighted children, then physically handicapped children, idiots, slow learners we are using, learning disabled children we are using, and they are called disabled students. Sometimes we used the term handicapped, impairment, all those things. Impaired students, handicapped students, disabled students. Then, so far as who is concerned, 2001, there are three dimensions of disability. One is impairment, loss of, impairment means loss of body structure and function, loss of memory or intellectual function, loss. Parts of the body or limbs in case of physically handicapped are lost. Then loss in case of loss of physical limbs, in case of physical you see eye, sight is lost in case of blind students, loss of body structure, as well as it affects functioning of body, loss of memory power. As a result, it hampers intellectual functioning or intellectual capacity, intellectual ability. Impairment. Another dimension is activity limited. As those students, disabled students, lost something relating to their body, their activity is limited. In case of physically handicapped, face difficulties in walking. So far as hearing impaired children concerned, face difficulty in listening. Face difficulties in speaking, hearing impaired children. Then learning disabled students face difficulties in memorizing. They lost their memory. They lost their attention. They are hyperactive. They commit mistakes in solving arithmetic problems. They are unable to write correctly, listen to their teachers correctly. They fail to understand a particular concept. You see, their activity is limited. And their participation is also restricted, so far as different activities organized in the school, they fail to participate with those activities. They are due to loss of hearing, loss of vision, loss of physical parts or physical limbs. Their participation in different activities are restricted. That's why there are three dimensions which have been mentioned by WHO in 2001. Right of Persons with Disability Act, Right of Persons with Disability Act in India, enacted in 2016, has mentioned about 20 types of disabilities, 21 types of disabilities. And it has been mentioned that Special support in education is needed for them as they are disabled. Special support in education is needed. Special aids and appliances are also needed. For example, Braille for blind students, then hearing aids for hearing impaired children, different types of aids, wheelchair for physically handicapped students, different types of aids, special aids and appliances are needed for those type of students. And special types of teaching and learning aids and materials are needed for the education of those children. They need, for example, you see, special type of teaching, learning aids. Aids used for blind students is something different from aids used for deaf students. That's why, that's why a teacher must know about different types of teaching aids which can be used for the benefit of those students in the classroom. Examination related support also they require. Examination related support the students require. Let me discuss about different types of disabilities and uh, their the learning implications, educational implications or learning implications of different types of disabled students. First, let me discuss about visual impairment or visually impaired children. Commonly, we use uh, blind children or partially sighted children. So far as India, in Indian context, visually, you see, visually impaired children are those children whose visual acuity has been defined, whose visually acuity is 6 by 60. They are called visually impaired children. And sometimes we use total blind children or total blind or profound visually impaired children and partially sighted children. In India, so far as total blind children is concerned, their visual acuity is 20 by 200 or 6 by 60. And so far as partially sighted children are concerned, their visual acuity ranges from 20 by 70 to 20 by 200 in Snell's chart. Snell's chart is used to test the visual acuity, and on that basis, blind children or visually impaired children are categorized as profound, or mild, moderate, severely visually impaired children accordingly. Anyway, the 20 by 70 to 20 by 200 visual acuity, students with visual acuity or children with visual acuity come under partially sighted, and 220 to 200 are they come under, those students come under totally blind category. Then they can be categorized as congenital blind or congenital impaired or adventitious or acquired visually impaired. Congenital at the time of birth, students who lost their vision at the time of birth, they are common or uh, that is congenital category. And after birth, due to accident or due to some disease or fever or illness, if they lose their vision, they come under acquired category or adventitious category. They lost their vision, they lack, they lack sight, that is their nature, and that is about the concept of visual impairment. And what are the difficulties they face in the classroom? Teaching learning process is a two-way communication process between students and teachers in the classroom. We communicate using different methods, different modes, different types of techniques, strategies for better understanding of the students in the classroom. And in communication process, students also ask questions to clarify their doubts. That's why teaching learning process is based upon the system of communication. But so far as visually impaired children are concerned, they cannot rely on written communication. They trust on uh, speaking on the part of the student, teachers, speaking, verbal communication. It's that you use picture, model, sometimes we use for teaching, but they cannot see those chart, models, pictures, general map. We use ordinary maps that we use to teach to the students. Impaired, visually impaired students, because they lost their sight. All other sense organs, they can listen to you, they can touch, tactile, tactile, or they can touch. They learn out of touching some objects. If you show object, it will not be benefited. They can touch it. They believe on touch, taste, then listen, hearing, though they lost their sight, but all other organs are very active, and those sense organs could be exploited for teaching to the students in the classroom. For example, Braille, special teaching aids require Braille, audio tapes, laptop, iPad, large, yes, partial sighted students are there. Large print materials you can use. Then magnified glass for them can be used. Then embossed map you can use in the classroom so that they will be benefited. You must know about their needs, about their nature before uh, going to deliver uh, or before going to transact curriculum in the classroom. Special type of training they also require. Mobility training, they must know about the location of the door, location of the classroom, location of the playground, location of the chair and bench on which they should sit, location of the library, location of the canteen, location of the hostel, location of room, study room. That's why mobility training they require for uh, at the initial stage mobility training. That's why special training program you can conduct that is called mobility training. Position of the furniture in the classroom, chair, bench, blackboard, position of the door, corridor, bathroom, where is bathroom, for sanitation, laboratory, library, location. That's why mobility training you can organize to train about all those things, especially for visually impaired children. Assistive device you can provide them or use, that is Braille. Braille should be provided, abacus should be provided, magnifying should be provided to them. Special use of assistive device. Then sensitive to the learning needs, you must be sensitive to the learning needs, their learning needs, as I have already discussed with you. Cooperative learning method you can use so that they can work with other children in a group. You have to form groups where there must be normal children and they must discuss their doubts, discuss about the topic, and they will be benefited out of it. Form groups, cooperative learning method you can use. Learning by doing method you can also use for the benefit of the blind students in the classroom. Tactile teaching, touch, and verbal speaking, they can listen to you clear for their clear understanding. Give on communication skills. Remember, we use for communication, speaking, reading, and writing. These skills, we say communication skills are used by the teacher in the classroom for communication purpose. Listening and speaking should be given more importance for dealing with listening skill and speaking skill on the part of the students should be given trace for the benefit of the visual impaired children in the classroom. Writing and reading skill. Reading skill should be given importance by using, by the help of that special device, writing also, writing and reading. For that, they depend upon Braille writing. They should learn how to write by using Braille. But in the classroom, more importance should be given by the teacher on first two skills, listening skill and speaking skill. Learning by doing method and cooperative learning method, you can uh, introduce, you can use for the benefit of those type of learners. Let me discuss about another very important group of students belonging to hearing loss. They are called hearing impaired children, come under sensory impairment, sometimes sensory impairment. They are called both blind and deaf are both blind and deaf come under under the category of sensory impairment. And hearing impairment, as you know, they can be categorized under two categories so far as onset of hearing impairment is concerned. First category is congenital at the time of birth. Congenital, they have lost their hearing capacity at the time of birth, and there are hearing impaired students who lost after birth their uh, hearing capacity. After birth, they are called acquired hearing impaired. Hearing impairment is acquired, maybe due to illness, due to fever, due to accident. Some uh, lost their hearing capacity, and they are called acquired hearing impaired students. And hearing impaired students can further be classified as prelingual and postlingual. Prelingual hearing impaired students are those who lost their hearing capacity before before learning a language, before learning their mother tongue. Before, as you know, language takes place when the child attains age to 18 months to 2 years. During that period, a child can able to speak a sentence with grammatical form. That's why language takes place uh, during 18 months to 24 months or 2 years. And before that, those who lost their hearing capacity, they are called prelingual hearing impaired children. And after learning some language, learning language or their mother tongue, students, when acquire hearing impairment, they are called postlingual hearing impairment. There are different types of hearing impaired students from psychological point of view or from special education point of view. They are categorized as mild hearing impaired persons, mild hearing impaired person, moderate hearing impaired person, moderately severe, then severe, then last one is profound. Profound. Then here, the hearing threshold level, which is expressed by decibel, is used to categorize those types of those groups of hearing impaired children. Hearing threshold level, whose hearing threshold level is above 90 dB decibel, they are called profound hearing impaired children. Profound hearing impaired children are those whose hearing threshold level is above 90 decibel or dB. And severely hearing impaired children are those whose hearing threshold level ranges ranges from 71 dB to 89 dB or 89 decibel. Moderately severe, whose hearing threshold level falls between 51 to 70 decibel. Moderate, whose hearing threshold level is between 41 to decibel. Then mild, whose hearing threshold level is between 27 to 40 decibel. So hearing impaired children are categorized likewise. And commonly we use deaf and hard of hearing. These two concepts we use in our day-to-day life. Deaf student and hard of hearing student. Deaf students, so far as right to persons with disable act is concerned, as I have already discussed with you. Deaf students are they whose hearing threshold level is 70 decibel, 70 to and hard of hearing 60 to 70 decibel hearing threshold level. What are the difficulties with them? Remember, deaf and dumb students or hearing impaired students are also speechless, students. They lack speaking, as they cannot listen to, they cannot speak. They also lost speech. So far as communication skill is concerned, they cannot listen to you, nor they cannot speak. Neither they can listen to the teacher, or nor they can speak to the teacher. Reading and writing, they are benefited out of reading skill and writing skill. They can write, they can read, but they cannot speak or they cannot listen to. That's why teacher must be aware of all those things. That's why they face problem in listening and speaking. The language that you, as I have already discussed with you, communication issue, language issue. That's why for them, they depend upon lip reading, sign language. For them, sign language is used, sign language. Lip reading for them. Then for them, body language, gesture, posture, action can be used to make them understand different concepts in the classroom. Lip reading, sign language, ordinary communication that you use for the benefit of the normal students may not be used for them. That's why a teacher must be know about their special needs, their nature, to deal with them in the classroom with success. That's why special training is required for visual strategy. They depend upon visual strategies, writing, print material, visual teaching learning aids, video, sign language, lip reading, gesture, posture, body language, all those things should be used. Visual strategies. They should be trained with using visual strategies. Then use of assistive devices for their education. Assistive devices, appliances like hearing aids, smart technology, hearing aids can be used for special training before classroom training. Then comes intellectual disability or intellectually disabled students. And under intellectually disabled students come two categories, two subcategories come. One is mentally retarded, another is learning disabled. As you know, on the basis of IQ, students are categorized as idiots, imbecile, moron, slow learners, average, gifted, and that categorization is made by the help of IQ, intelligence quotient. That is MA by CA. You have studied in psychology or education psychology how to calculate IQ of a student. The student whose IQ is more than 145, they are called gifted students. And the students whose IQ is between 65 to 90, they are called slow learners. And students whose IQ is between 90 to 110, they are called average standard learners. Average learners. And it is also found that whose IQ is very good, their achievement is very good. IQ and achievement are closely related to each other. It has been proved. Whose IQ is very high, their achievement will be very high. Whose IQ is very low, their achievement will be very low. That's why slow learners are there who secure a very less mark in different subjects. In achievement test, they secure very less marks. They are called slow learners. But what about intellectual disabled? Intellectual disabled are of different types. Idiots, whose IQ is below 20, they are idiots. They are called profound. They fall under profound category. Then imbecile, whose IQ is between 20 to 40. Morons, Storm and Morrill's categorization I am talking talking with you. Morons, whose IQ is between 40 to 65. Slow learners, whose IQ is between 70 to 90. But so far as categorization used at present, we use profound category, whose IQ is below 20. Then mild category, whose IQ is between 50 to 70, mild category. Severe category, whose IQ is between 40 to, whose IQ is between 35 to 49. Then moderate category, 20 to 35 IQ. Ordinarily, in a Navodaya Vidyalaya, talented students are selected, and those type of students, I think they do not study in Navodaya Vidyalayas, because written test is conducted and brilliant students study in Navodaya Vidyalaya. That's why you may not come across intellectually disabled students in Navodaya Vidyalayas. But another category of intellectually disabled students whose IQ is very high, but achievement is very low. Even Fox and his associates found out a category of learners whose IQ is very high, but achievement is very low. That category is called gifted learning disabled category. Learning disabled. IQ is gifted learning disabled students. IQ is very high, but achievement is very slow, very low, or their academic progress is very low. Learning disabled are there, and they face problem in solving a problem, writing correct sentence, spelling mistakes, confusing teachers explanation, confused with the teacher's explanation, fail to understand it, dyslexia, aphasia, then uh, that is another category that is called uh, dyspraxia, dyspraxia relating to motor activities. Then arithmetic relating to arithmetics, aphasia relating to language or language, dyslexia, behavior, hyperactivities. There are relating to the behavior, hyperactivity activities there, and neurological. They suffer from some neurological problem. That's why other terms is used for them medically. In medical terms, they are MBD, minimal brain dysfunctioning, that is used for them, and uh, they have short memory power, low attention, low concentration, and disturbed so far as emotional aspect is concerned, disturbed. Okay, this so far as arithmetic arithmetic solving of arithmetic problem is concerned, they commit mistakes due to writing that numbers. Instead of writing 16, they can write 61. Confusion, 60A confused with B and D likewise. That's why they commit silly mistakes and secure very less marks in the exam. You should take care of uh, uh, teaching to those types of or those groups of students in the classroom. Another category of students are the physically disabled students, the loss physical limbs. As a result, they are restricted with physical mobility. They also require some special attention. They can also achieve academically. There is no problem, but problem is relating to their movement. You take care of with regard to their movement. Wheelchair sometimes used, then some some appliances are also used, instruments are used for moving from one place to another. They require your affection, love, and cooperation, trust they require, and motivation, encouragement they require from you. And with this little help, they can be benefited. Otherwise, they are sound so far as their intellectual function is concerned, sound so far as their vision is concerned, hearing is concerned, all other organs except parts of the body or physical limbs which they lost at the time of birth or after birth. Sometimes when they lost, their movement is restricted, mobility is restricted with some mobility training and providing some physical related body related instruments, appliances, they can be benefited out of education in the normal classroom. That is why we should take care of the children. This is all about the different types of disabled students studying in the class and that you are always facing, and their needs, their challenges, and their requirements, their expectations, and how to deal with those students successfully in the class, how to teach them so that they are academic and non-academic, non-academic or scholastic, they are scholastic and co-scholastic aspects or performance or achievement could be enhanced by your teaching learning method, techniques, strategies in the classroom. This is all about today's discussion. If you have any doubt, you can ask me, or if you could share something from your experience, you are invited. Ask your doubt, or you can share your experiences. If you have an unique experience as a teacher while dealing with those students, you can share with others. No doubt, no discussion. Okay, thank you. Let us stop here. Thank you.
Dr. Sarangi, is it over?
Yes, it is over now.
Okay.
It is over.
So I think students have also left.
Students have left. I have given 10 minutes for discussion, sharing their ideas. But yesterday, 2 to 3 participants shared their views, then clarified their doubt. But today, they
yes.
kept mum, no question. That's
So
why.
anyway, the recording will be there, and whatever you have presented today, that will be shared with all those students who are absent.
Okay.
So the last block, that is block 4. Okay, the block 4 we will discuss on Monday. Monday the last class is there.
In the last class, let us hope for the best and let us anticipate more students to participate because I wanted some interaction with the direct interaction with the students, sharing their own ideas, that the problems that they are facing for discussion.
Okay, thank you very much. So let us wind up today, and Monday we are meeting again. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.